9 minutes past 8 on a Friday. His was one of the most controversial I'm a Celebrity exits ever when Brian Conley left the show after collapsing. Speculation about his health dominated the headlines.
Well, in an exclusive interview this morning, Brian told me that while in the jungle, he stopped taking the antidepressants he'd been on for 15 years. But the bosses of the show, worried about his well-being, insisted that he continue to take the medication.
They said if I did not comply with these regulations, then I would not be on the show. Now, it is under extreme circumstances, and I started to feel really bad because in the end, very shortly after that, I did have to leave, and I had an examination. They found out that I had malnutrition and I was suffering from exhaustion. That's what the doctor said. They then sedated me in hospital. They gave me a tablet that would probably knock out a horse for 2 days. And I woke up with the saline drip in my arm, thinking, what on earth has happened here? You know, all my kids said, you've got to go out there, you've got to win the stick. Because I always joke with them about, you know, what do you get if you win? You win a stick. And I'm now lying in hospital being heavily sedated with a saline drip because I suffer from malnutrition and exhaustion, all because of a lovely show, a fluffy show that Anti-Deck do. I can tell you it's not fluffy out there, it's the real world, and it is tough, it is really tough.
Well, we saw that. We saw that, how tough it was. I mean, you did look fragile, but you are a real trooper. You know, in your world, the show must go on. So it must have been really bad for you to have left, but it must have been very, very bad for you then to have made that decision to go.
Well, it was bad. I felt bad because it was out of my control, and it was their decision. I couldn't lie to them. I'm an honest guy. I couldn't go, yes, I've taken my tablets. Of course I have, because they never examine you taking it. I could have then just gone in the dunny and just dropped it down there. But I thought, surely that must see logic. I've taken this tablet for 15 years. I've even had people say, Brian, I don't think you even need it now. And I have to say, and this is another point, ever since I've left, I've not taken the tablet. I feel very proud that I stuck to my guns and that I said, well, I have to go. I feel very proud that I didn't saunter out and walk straight into the Versace, that I had to be sedated because of extreme exhaustion, and I feel very proud that I got through it, and it's actually made me a much stronger man, and you're looking at someone that doesn't need antidepressants, and I realise that now. Was
there one thing that made you realise that you had to go, and did you make that decision yourself to go, or were you taken out of the situation?
No. I think it was... It all got very serious when it was legally binding. You must comply with these rules. It got all very official, and quite rightly so. ITV's a big, huge company. They've got to do it right. And if I brought these tablets in, I've got to take them. And I must tell you about my stick, and this is really what we led to, and when my kids would wave me off. My kids, I said, Dad's going to go into the jungle and he's going to do his best to win that stick. It always blows me away, this, because people always assume that you win a load of money coming in to do this. You win a stick. You win a little couple of leaves on your head and a stick. I said to the girls, I'm going to win that stick. I'm going to win that stick. I go in, one thing leads to another. And I've always joked with little Luce about this stick. And, oh, I'm going to cry now. But anyway, she said, look, don't worry, Dad. When I came out, she said, don't worry. I'll make you a stick. I'll make you a stick. And I thought that would be the best stick I've ever had.
I know your wife and your daughters have been very worried about you. They've come out there, but they must have been so concerned, you know, to see you in hospital.
The kids were kept out of it, and Anne-Marie came, and I felt sorry for her because she saw me when I was heavily sedated, and I couldn't even virtually raise a smile. She said, he's so tired, and they gave me a big energy drink, which I drank, and I don't know what they gave me to knock me out. It must be something to knock out horses with.
Are you all right now? Are you feeling,
God, yeah.
You're okay?
Darling, I'm loving it. Listen, I've won. I'm not worried about the stick. They can have the stick. I have come out of this on top. I've come out of this a stronger person. I now realise I am a lot stronger than I thought. But I'm also having a lovely break with my family. I just finished Oliver, which I was in for a year, playing Fagin for Cameron McIntosh. I came straight off the back of that into this. Right. Now I've got about another 10 days welcoming all the other campmates out, and I've got a holiday with my family, and they pay for the hotel.
Well, that's rather lovely. But I have to ask you, Brian, regrets now. Now, do you think... Do you actually have any regrets? Do you regret actually going into the jungle now? When you look
Not
at
at all.
No.
Not at all. And I'll tell you why, because it's all out in the open now. What I want to do now is publicise depression. I've been there, I've touched it when my father died. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And that's why I'm very happy to be sitting here saying, look, I've taken tablets, I needed help. You all think, you know, the hardest job in the world is to go out and try and make people laugh when your dad's just died. And that got to me, and I bottled it up for about a year. Eventually, a psychiatrist talked me through it, a wonderful man called Maurice Lipsage, who very much helped me get over it, and even instigated me not drinking anymore, because I was self-medicating on alcohol. To make me relax, I would drink a lot. These things all go on in the real world. This is a real world. The jungle is not, because that's a bleeding hard world, that is. But I don't regret it, because I really now want to sort of champion and very much become part of. And I'll tell you what, I'm hoping that chair that I've got I left in the jungle, we could possibly auction that off for people with mental illness.
That's a very good idea.
I used to watch...
No, before... Sorry, love, just before we go, because we're running out of time, I'm afraid. What's next for you?
Sure.
What's next for you? What are you going to be up to next?
I've got Birmingham, I'm doing pantomime, and I'm definitely going to be there. Even the pantomime people rung up and said, is he all right? Is he going to do? Don't worry, I'll be there, I'm fine.
Dr. Hillary's here now. Great to hear him talking openly about depression like that.
Yeah, it is. You know, anyone can be touched by depression. He's been in a very stressful place. It's a very artificial situation out there, but sleep deprivation, no food for 6 days. He's had a severe case of Helen Flanaganitis. No stars won, no food for 6 days. So mentally and psychologically stressful. If you're already on antidepressants for a reactive depression following a bereavement, you know, that is not the best time to stop taking your antidepressants. It's actually the very wrong time to do it, and that may well have had a big impact on what's happened. But look, he's talking very openly about it. He wants to. He's been heavily sedated for a couple of days. He needs a huge amount of rest. Yeah. He's exhausted. He needs to be in the bosom of his family, which he is. He would have had checks before he went into the jungle, and medical, physical checks and psychological checks, which is right. But you just can't predict how people are going to react in those circumstances, which is what makes it a good show. And
also the fact that they just weren't eating. I mean, that's going to affect anybody, you know, whether you're on medication or not, that's going to affect you.
Absolutely.
It's just really good to see him talking and that he's all right, because I know that we've all been really worried about him.
He's a lovely guy, and he's in here often, and he will bounce back, and I'm sure he'll be playing in pantomime before too long.
Oh, yes, he will.
Oh, yes, he will.
Oh, no, he won't.
Yes, he will. Thank you, Hilary. Thank you.